Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Sal's House. We're bringing it on the road to a golf course for the first time. Check this out. This is Bartlett Country Club. Pretty amazing. We're here for Coaches versus Cancer. I have a couple of guys come around here, and Mark Schmidt's going to join me right away. I know you got a lot of people to get to. Thanks a lot, Coach. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
No,
I appreciate it.
you coming and being an MC. We had a great night last night. You did a tremendous job, and this is just a great event for our community.
Listen, tell me a little bit about, tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about Coaches versus Cancer, your involvement. You had a great story last night, what it means to you.
Yeah, it's really important. It's Coach Sadlerland got me involved with this 15 years ago, and we had our first one up in Buffalo, and thought we'd bring it down to Bartlett, and this is the third annual, and we've raised over, I think $300,000, and it's just the community here is such a special place, and this is not, a high level. We don't have zillionaires here. It's not the Hamptons. But people come out and they support this thing. As I said last night when I talked, it's, volunteering is such a huge part of what we should be doing as human beings, and the support that we get from our community just, shows why this Olean Allegheny is such a special place.
No doubt about it. And you have some great people. The support you get from some of these basketball coaches. Seth Greenberg is here. We know Woj has been here. Unfortunately, couldn't make it this weekend, but the basketball coaches, Frank Martin's here this year. How cool is that they give back to you and this community and Coaches versus Cancer?
Yeah, I think everybody sees, like Frank's at UMass, and, that we see each other, or they see us competing and yelling at each other. But, when it's all said and done, it's not about winning games. It's about, in this case, beating cancer. And, really proud and thankful that Frank would make a trip all the way from Amherst to come to this event. And, Seth is the same thing. It's, I asked Seth to be the keynote speaker. And when I called him, there was no hesitation. I was like, when is it? I'll be up there. So it's, coaching is a fraternity, and most of the guys get along really well, and they're out to help each other.
Also a little bit about the Bonnies this year. A lot of our fans want to know and watch and hear what the college basketball scene is going to be like down in Olean this year.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. With the whole portal thing and the NIL, we have 9 new players. Noel Brown is really he's the only returning guy that, had any numbers at all, 6 points and 2 rebounds. But I think we brought in, my assistants have done a tremendous job of bringing in, long athletic guys. I think guys that have had some success at schools that they were before. And they were here for the summertime. We've had some good workouts. It's just different, Sal, in terms of, you don't build a program any longer. You build a team for every year. And, you have these guys for 7 months. And then in March, some will come in and leave because they're not playing. Some will come in and leave because, they get a better offer someplace else. But I think we're going to have a good team. The biggest thing, we have good players. And now in this age, it's about how can you bring the team together and play as one. Because with this whole NIL, it's really become, a I and me thing. Where can I go and get more money? Where can I, and now you don't win with individuals, you win with a team. And so that's our job, is to try to bring them together, in 2 or 3 months, so we can be playing our best basketball when the Atlantic 10 conference starts.
Is your golf team going to win this thing today, or how's your golf game?
Well, hopefully my other 3 guys, I know Mike Corey from ESPN, he's not going to help us. I know that for sure. And I probably won't either. So my other 2 guys, Frank Higgins and Kyle Hensel, hopefully they can bring their A game. But as you said last night, there'll be somebody coming in here with 25 under par. Right. It's like, what? I know. So, but we're here
to buy a million mulligans.
Exactly.
And that's what
mulligans, but, and a little, kicking the ball out of the woods. You know how it is.
That's right.
But we're here for a great cause, and we're trying to crush cancer.
Well, you and your wife, Anita, have been so nice to me, and I appreciate it. And we're going to have a great day today. Thank you.
Great. And thanks for your support.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. That is Mark Schmidt, head coach St. Bonaventure. We're going to bring in Seth Greenberg here in a second. He's going to walk over here, and we're going to talk a little about his career. But before I do that, let's get to my sponsors. Of course, Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street in Buffalo. Come on around, Coach, right here if you can. 1407 Niagara Street in Buffalo. Great pizza and wings. I'm going to tell you about pizza and wings in a second. Buffalo logo, you see them on your screen there. All your screen printing, embroidery, all of that. But Sports City Pizza Pub, if you're going to come to Buffalo, we're going to take you for wings at Sports City Pizza Pub, one of my great sponsors.
The great wing place used to be right at the airport, right?
So that would be, so you're talking about the Anchor Bar. And Duff's have like they're like the
that's your place.
That's my place, Sports City Pizza Pub. That they have great wings, and
good wings.
And I do, and they have like 30 different flavors and great pizza. And by the way, best spot in the city to watch games all around you, TVs everywhere, to see your smiling face on ESPN. Thanks for coming down here this weekend.
Honored to be asked to come down here. I have so much respect for Mark and what he's doing. Obviously, everyone has been impacted by cancer, whether it's a husband, a wife, an uncle, an aunt, a grandparent, a child, and to have an opportunity to help raise money, help raise awareness, education for the battle against cancer. It's an honor to be asked. And like I said, coming up here, and even though it's been trains, planes, and automobiles to get here, I literally could get to Ireland from BDL quicker than I got here, but it's well worth it, and the people here are just absolutely incredible.
They are. You know what's so funny? I'm laughing. The movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was filmed here in Western New York.
Really?
It's appropriate.
It's appropriate. I mean, I took a nice trip. I went from BDL to Baltimore, sat for 4 hours, flew to Buffalo. Flight was late. Drove it here to Olean, and besides that, I mean, when you fly Southwest, you're in, boarding group A, B, C, or other. I think I was other, but it's all good. I'm happy I'm here, and beautiful day. It's going to be a blast.
Seth Greenberg, ESPN, former Virginia Tech head coach, USF head coach. I'm interested from a media perspective of how this whole NIL and portal has changed for you, preparing for games, getting to know players. I mean, it's got of course, these coaches have to navigate through having a team, but how about for you from the media side of things?
Well, there's 1,900 transfers. All right. So, and now only 41 people understand 41% of those kids have not found a place to land, which is really sad. That's the dirty little secret about the portal. So everyone hears about the guys getting paid $800,000, $1 million, $400,000, $500,000. But there's also 41% of them that have nowhere to go. And that's 41% of guys that maybe were on scholarship, that were making progress towards the degree, that now we're trying to figure out where they go next. But, for me, the biggest thing is, the biggest mistake you can make in media is mispronouncing someone or not knowing where they're going. When you look at the power conference schools right now, SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, even the Atlantic 10, every single team has 3 and 4 new players on their roster that were somewhere else. Some were within the league. Some were coming from other leagues. But the number of transfers that you have to know, especially early in the season, you talk about Feast Week, and everyone plays in the Feast Week game. And we cover every single Feast Week tournament pretty much. Your preparation is different. You have to start that much earlier. Usually I would start August 1. I started in July. Breaking down every single conference, every single team, rosters, evaluating the best transfers. I did bios on the top 100 transfers already. I did bios on the top 100 high school kids coming in. And then you also have had a lot of movement in coaching. 60-plus coaches are in new places this past year. So, preparation is the most important thing. Is you do an amazing job, but if you don't prepare, you get exposed. And I take great pride, and I approach this very similar to what I did when I was coaching.
So we're here in Western New York. We're down here. We talked to Mark. We know a little bit about St. Bonaventure, but you also are very familiar with the Canisius program, the Buffalo program, and the Niagara program, especially with those coaches. Let my viewers know a little bit about what you think about each program, where they stand right now after some changes, obviously locally at Canisius, but maybe a year in for George, and then Greg, who's been there for a few years.
Yeah, first of all, Buffalo. I mean, I'm a big believer in George. He took over a very difficult situation, and identity should be immediate, and culture takes time to build. And, retention is so important. So, for George, at Buffalo, first and foremost, it's a different job than Villanova. So you've got to figure out who you are and how you win at the place you're at. And I think a big thing for him this year is to identify the difference, build their identity within the confines of Buffalo, the players he's able to recruit. And then also, who can you recruit, in terms of, are we going to be pure portal? Are we going to try to develop players, style of play, things of that nature? So he's in the very infancy, and people want it to happen right now. People say, well, with the portal, you can turn your program around right now. Yeah, you can, but then maintaining it, you want continuity. So he's finding that balance. Jerry Mack, I think he'll do a terrific job at Siena. And I was a big fan of Carmen. I thought he did a really, really good job. But, it's interesting. I joke around with Jerry Mack is that, I watched Mike Hopkins go to University of Washington. I love actually Mike Hopkins. But as his career went along, not only did he sound like Jim, he started to look like Jim. So I'm a little worried about Jerry Mack. But he'll do a terrific job.
How about Canisius?
Yeah, and see, Jim Christian is a very good basketball coach.
He's got to kind of rebuild that program really from the ground level. He didn't have really anybody when he got hired.
Jim Christian's had more jobs over the last 20 years. I mean, you think about that. He's like 5 jobs over the last 20 years. Schmidt's been at the same place for the last 17 years.
That's right.
So, he's like a vagabond, but he's the guy that fixes it. And when he's been in mid-major type programs, he's crushed it. He's absolutely crushed it. So terrific evaluative talent. That's the big thing people don't understand. The most important part of recruiting at the mid-major level is evaluation, where Mark's done an absolutely incredible job. Who can play for you? Who fits your system? Who fits your community? Who will buy in to your vision for the program? And I think Jimmy will do a really good job. Canisius got obviously a rich basketball tradition. When I was at the University of Pittsburgh, we tried to recruit Ray Hall, who was a great player at Canisius, and they smacked us around and beat us. We tried to recruit Lester Rowe, who was another Buffalo kid, and obviously West Virginia got him. So, but when I look at Canisius, I think Jimmy is a terrific teacher. He'll have a style of play people will enjoy. He'll be a relentless recruiter. He's got a really good network. And then, you're looking at Niagara and obviously Greg Paulus. So Greg's done a really solid job, and they got to have a breakthrough year. Last year, Quinnipiac had that breakthrough year in the MAC. Can they have a breakthrough year? And, I think you were telling me he softened the preseason schedule a little bit, gained some confidence, get some wins, get a better feeling about your team going. But, Greg is, he's one of the great stories in college sports. I mean, think about it, from Duke to Syracuse to play football. I mean,
he was Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball in the state of New York. Yeah, what an athlete.
It's incredible. We played against him when he was at Duke, and, he was put in a very difficult situation. His last year at Duke, they struggled a little bit, and they blamed a lot of it on him, and it wasn't him. It was, but they had to have a kind of a scapegoat. He's a fiercely competitive guy. He's really, really smart. He's got tremendous passion and tremendous energy. So I think what you have in this region, terrific coaches, high character, great work ethics, but they're all trying to figure out who they are and how they win in this new environment of college athletics, because it's different. We've gotten to the point now, everyone talks about NIL and they talk about the portal. What we aren't talking about enough is education. We've got to find a way to bring education back into college athletics. And it's one of my pet peeves, whether it's even with NIL. Do you have academic progress bonuses? Do you have graduation bonuses? Do you have community service bonuses where that money would be put aside so when these kids graduate, all right, they have something to start their lives? And then a mentor program. I think we need a mentor program where, as much as financial assistance, we need a program where, when that kid graduates, he has someone who stands beside him and helps build a bridge for him to cross in a game called life. I had a great mentor, Terry Holland, when I went to the University of Virginia. Never made a major decision in my life without consulting Coach Holland. And, the relationship was he didn't want anything in return from me. All they want to do is help me pursue my career. We need to have some type of mentoring program in place for these young athletes and these young people, because their goals need to be higher than 10 feet. Right? They've got to set goals so that when become a better parent, become a better husband, be a role model, and have success after, the ball's taken away.
How's your golf game? You going to be okay out here today?
I'm playing with loaner clubs. I got a new 60-degree wedge, but we'll smack it around a little bit. So golf is typical. It's usually 5 pars, a couple of doubles or triples, and a couple of bogeys, but it's a scramble. So, at worst, we can make bogeys, so life will be good.
Hey, listen, if you would have told me just 48 hours ago, I would have been hanging out with Seth Greenberg having chicken wings at third base and only in New York.
Third base was
it
was unbelievable.
This
by the way,
yes.
I got to say, third base. I was Joe Schmo at third base, but you, on the other hand, you were asked multiple. I mean, like hanging out with you is like hanging out with a rock star. I mean, like, how's the Bulls? They're going to be younger. Bills are going to be younger. I mean, like, it was unbelievable. Like, right now, I could do play-by-play for the Bills after hanging out with you.
I love it. Thank you. Hey, listen, it's been a pleasure, and I'm sure we're going to get to know each other a little bit more. Thank you.
I appreciate you, brother.
That is Seth Greenberg. You can watch him on ESPN, of course, College Game Day. He's one of the main analysts on ESPN. Of course, he was the head coach at Virginia Tech after he was the head coach at USF. Really great guy there. Yeah, we crushed some wings last night, not at Sports City Pizza Pub because we were down here in Olean. It was a place called Third Base. I'll give him a little love, but you need to go to Sports City Pizza Pub when you're in Buffalo, 1407 Niagara Street. Of course, check them out. Great wings, great pizza, great place to drink wherever you want to drink, whatever you want to do. Watch games. I'm looking around here to see who else I can bring over here as I tell you about Sports City and Buffalo Logo, where for all your embroidery, screen printing, and a lot more, buff-a-logo.com. You see down on the bottom of your screen right there. This is Bartlett Country Club. I want to show you what we got going on here today. See the carts? We're getting ready here at Bartlett. Going to do a little bit more. Joe Lavere. Joe, come here, buddy. I'm going to bring Joe Lavere here from American Cancer Society. He's kind of helped set a lot of this up here. Coaches versus Cancer. Thanks, Joe. You're on Sal's house now.
Sal.
Good morning. And so people ask me, I was with Seth last night. He said, how'd you get hooked up with this? And I said, actually, Joe Lavere's been the guy. Like, I've done Real Men Wear Pink.
Yep.
And then one year you said, hey, we got a Coaches versus Cancer event downtown. And you asked me to kind of moderate the event. And from there, I'm like, Joe, this is great. I love college basketball. And I just want to thank you for allowing me into this world because it's been a great relationship and for a great cause.
Absolutely. And we appreciate everything you do for us, Sal. So thank you very much for everything that you do. I couldn't ask for a better MC in the Buffalo area. So I feel like I got the top one.
I appreciate that. So what does it mean for you to be a part of this thing and see these guys? I know you're a big college basketball fan too.
Yeah, so I love hoops. I actually got involved with the American Cancer Society originally as a volunteer when I worked at Siena University, or Siena College still now, in Albany. They have a basketball gala there that I got involved with as a volunteer about 11 years ago. And then when I was working at Canisius in Buffalo, American Cancer Society was one of our partners, and they approached me about coming on board and growing the Coaches versus Cancer portfolio. And all of that hard work brings us to today, along with a whole bunch of other events all around upstate New York that I manage as well. So, but I love hoops, and I love seeing all the coaches, and I like playing golf sometimes.
What if somebody who's watching says, man, this is really cool. I want to be involved in some way, shape, or form. I can donate. I can be a part of it. I can play golf maybe with some people. What do they do?
Absolutely. So you can go to our website, cvc716.givesmart.com for this event, and auction is open until 6 tonight. Okay. If you want to get in on an auction item at home, we ship everything is possible to be shipped. And then if you want to get involved with as a volunteer, or you want to get involved as like, hey, I want to be a foursome next year, you can go to cancer.org, and our event is listed under the Coaches versus Cancer tab. Or they can reach out to me, joe.lavere@cancer.org, and I'd be happy to talk to them.
Joe Lavere right there, Coaches versus Cancer, Real Men Wear Pink. You got a lot going on here today. I'll let you go do that. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this. I'll send Frank Barton over next.
Oh, is he here?
He was saying we're gonna have to get.
Is he here?
Seth talks a lot.
Yeah, is Frank here?
Yes, he is.
It's great. I love Frank to come over here. There he is. There's Coach Martin. He's going to come on over here. Look at this. Frank Martin's going to come on over. Here he goes. Look at this guy. Frank Martin sees me last night, and he says, I think I know you. I said, I think I know you. I think we're just the same guy. I think Frank Martin and I, we just kind of, when you see this guy come over, of course, Kansas State, where you know him from, in South Carolina. He's been a head coach in college basketball. He's getting his club right now. They're giving away for the players here a 60-degree wedge. Come on over, Coach. There he's talking to Mark Schmidt. We're doing this in real time here. Bartlett Country Club, Coaches versus Cancer, Sports City Pizza Pub, Buffalo Go. Come on over, Coach. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this.
Are you kidding me? I got a free golf club out of this. This is phenomenal.
What does it mean for you to be a part of this Coaches versus Cancer event and down here in Olean with Coach Schmidt?
Well, Coach Schmidt's one of the most respected guys in our business, and to be able to support him, and then a school like St. Bonaventure and this pocket of the country that up until I got to UMass, I never spent a lot of time in. And competing up here, understanding how much people care for their schools and these communities is so important, because that's what life's all about. We pay too much attention to winning and losing sometimes, and I get it. It's all part of it. But Coaches versus Cancer is something that I've been affiliated with since the day I was afforded the opportunity to become a head coach. It's something that I always dreamt that if I got the opportunity to be a head coach, I wanted to be a part of, and I try my best. Cancer touch us all. Like you just shared your story yesterday with us, and we're competitors as coaches. That's why we're in sports. We compete in recruiting. We compete in games. We compete in practice. But when it comes to cancer, we all unite, and we try to put our forces together to go fight that one common denominator.
I hope you take this as a compliment. I consider you an old school coach. Okay, I mean you're ingrained, and you've been around college basketball a long time. How are you navigating all the changes, NIL, portal, everything that goes along with it?
Well, it's part of life. It's one of the we all look in today's day and age of social media and all this stuff. We're always looking for sound bites, and we got quotes up on the wall. That's our culture, and one of the most powerful things I've heard was Nick Saban, I think 2 or 3 years ago. He said the dinosaurs didn't adapt. Look what happened to them. And the one thing that we all know in life is that change is coming. Sometimes you choose change. Sometimes change chooses you. And if you're not prepared to take on the change and grow, you're going to get left behind. And, I got to continue to fight for the values that life has taught me that matter. I got to understand the way the young people that I recruit and coach learn and the world that they live. The world that I live for the last 40 years is irrelevant to them. I have to understand how to motivate and teach them in the world that they're in. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see if I can figure it out. And if I can't, I'm old enough to say that I can go back to being a bartender and disappear. No one will ever hear from me again.
Did you ever bartend in your life? Were you a bartender?
Yeah.
So was I. That's great.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I love it.
But here's the great thing about bartending. You'd understand this. No one's ever mad at the bartender. Everyone's always pissed at me. My players are mad. My staff is mad. My wife is mad. My family's mad. Right. The fans are mad. Everyone's mad. When I bartended, everybody was happy all the time.
And it's great training for you to be a listener, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot of people who bring a lot of different perspectives, and you have a lot of players and administrators, and they want to tell you a lot of things. And it was great because when you're the bartender, you have to listen to everybody.
Absolutely. It's you sit there and you listen to folks, and they leave in a good mood just because you gave them an ear. And but no, it's I've done a little bit of everything, trying to make ends meet when I was young. So it's that's why I take advantage of coaching. And, some people say, well, the pressure of winning. I say, are you kidding me? I'm living a dream right now.
No, it's about the relationships. It's about the what you said, the things that matter in life and mentor and things like that. What about your golf game? How's that out here today?
Oh, that one's hurting. My golf game, less during COVID, when they shut everything down, like everyone else, the only thing we can actually do is golf. And I actually played a lot and got halfway decent. But then they came for my neck, and I got fired and changed jobs and moved the family, and haven't played much the last 4 years. So I just hope the trees here are okay that I'm going to be playing, because I'm going to be hitting them and behind them a lot.
Well, listen, Coach, thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me. I've always admired you from afar. So just to meet you, it's a pleasure for me, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Great to meet you too.
Absolutely. Good luck today.
Hey,
we'll catch up.
And I'm not going to tell you, I grew up across the street from the Orange Bowl, so I've been watching.
Oh, you did?
I've been watching them Bills Dolphins.
Oh my God! There you did you grow up a Dolphins fan?
Oh, it's across the street.
Right.
We used to sneak into the old Orange Bowl to watch all those games.
I love it. We got some stories we can share later for sure. Jim Kelly and Dan Marino going at it. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. Let's catch up later. We'll do that for sure. That is Frank Martin, of course, head coach college basketball, part of Coaches versus Cancer. Everything going on here. You see me? I put my glasses on. See that fog I showed you earlier? It's gone. Look at that. We are ready to rock and roll out here. Coaches versus Cancer. I wonder if there's anybody else I can bring over here real quick. Ron Berdovich is a really great. Let me see if I can grab Ron. Hey, Ron. Let me see if I can grab Coach Berdovich. Ron, can I grab you real quick? There you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I didn't mean to take you away from your group over there. All right. I just want to grab you for a minute or two. If you can come on over. I know a lot of people in Western New York will recognize you and know you, and maybe you can give a little tell everybody a little bit about, why you're here, what this means to you, and, being involved in this.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to, first of all, Sal, thank you for coming down here.
You got it.
Every year. I mean, it's great having you here, and you are a rock star here, by the way, when you come here. But I've been on this committee for 6 or 7 years now. It started up in Buffalo, and Mike McDonald won the Inspiration Award, and then we moved it down here. And the people of the Southern Tier have been so generous, over $100,000 a year. We're bringing it back, and it's sold out. Last night we had a reception for the first time ever and raised a lot of money for Coaches versus Cancer. So it's a labor of love. It's just a lot of good people working together. And for me, I've been in this business for about 40 years now, college basketball. So this is like a reunion for me, and just a lot of fun for me.
And people may not know, you were administrator at the college level for a long time. What, A10, Colonial, right? Tell everybody what you've done.
I've been blessed in a lot of ways. Jim Valvano hired me as a sports information director in 1980 at Iona. And before my first day, he left to go to NC State. So I never really worked for him, and we used to laugh about that. And then I went to the Atlantic 10, and I was the PR guy, the assistant commissioner. Then I became commissioner for 8 years. And matter of fact, we were just talking. I was commissioner when we had the Cheney Calipari incident, up at UMass. Coach Barton and I were just talking about that. And then I worked for Philadelphia Cable, started Empire Sports Network.
That's right.
Buffalo, and then the Regas bought the Sabres, moved me over to run the Sabres. I ran the business side. Darcy ran the hockey side. And then the Regas, they had their issues. And then Golisano came in and fired us all. Then I got back into college athletics. And I was with the Colonial Athletic Association for 15 years. And fortunate enough to be there when Mason went to the Final Four, then VCU went to the Final Four. So I got a lot of credit for things I didn't do, but that's okay. Now I'm back up in Buffalo. So.
Empire Sports Network. I mean, people watching right now go, "Oh my God, that's right." They missed those days. Howard Simon and the gang over there, and that must have been really fun.
Art Wander.
Yeah, I saw the Kilowatt.
I saw Art Wander's daughter the other day. He's 97 years old.
That's
and
amazing.
He's amazing. He still plays the piano. And
Art Wander wrote me a letter of recommendation to Syracuse University because I would call his show. And one day I called up and said, "Hey, I want to do what you do." And he literally wrote me a letter of recommendation to Syracuse.
He's the best. I mean, he was, he's just a lot of fun to be around. He had a different joke every day. We had Bob Kaczynski back then running Empire. There were so many people there with so much talent, so much passion. That was so much fun. And, and the Sabres go to the finals, and losing game 6 for that. So we had all that. Just a lot of memories. And I've been blessed in a lot of ways. And now I'm glad I'm so much part of this, and just a beautiful day here today. Like I said, we'll raise about $100,000, so that's good.
Well, thank you for having me as always.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you. That is Ron Berdovich, and yeah, man, crazy, right? He was part of Empire Sports Network. Basically, ran that network for a little while back in the day. Howard Simon, Bob Kaczynski, a lot of names that you would know. Hey, listen, there's a lot of people out here I'd love to talk to. They're in and out, but I want to thank everybody here at Bartlett Country Club. I'm gonna spin you around here to show you what's happening here today. There's our carts. Check this out. You see the golfers getting ready. That's the table, kind of register. And check this out over here. People, of course, on the course, putting, getting ready to rock and roll. It's getting bright. I put on my shades. I got to play some golf. Thank you to Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. Thank you to Buffalo Logo. Of course, all your screen printing, embroidery. I'm actually wearing a Buffalo Logo shirt today. I put this over top of it. So, I'm out here representing them as well. You should as well. Make sure you go to buff-a-logo.com and make sure you go to Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. We got a lot more going on with Sports City Pizza Pub coming up. In the meantime, thank you to everybody here at Coaches versus Cancer at Bartlett Country Club. And thank you for watching another edition of Sal's House.